You there?
Yeah, you good?
Let me tell you something. Everybody going live. He is out of control.
It's out of control right now.
Yo, when you go to log on, everybody going live. It's like all the circles is lit up.
Right. Hopefully, we done worked out the technical difficulties. What in your eyes, how has New York changed since the virus hit?
It's like a ghost town. I
Yeah.
mean, you know, in the beginning, even when I went into the store and you know they said you should wear the mask, I went to the store and the Arab dude was laughing because I had the mask on. And I was like, what's funny? He was like, oh, you making a big deal out of nothing, blah, blah, blah. I came back to the store 2 days later. He had on the mask, the gloves. I said, oh, where the jokes at? So I
Right.
think that, you know, with all the conspiracies and everything else, and listen, I was talking to somebody, we have a right to believe that some of these things are conspiracies, right? Because a lot of times there's
Right.
exposés and we find out that things aren't what they said they were. So we do have a right to be skeptical, but at the same time, at the course of your life, I don't know, I would rather be on the safe side. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. How do you think moving forward, artists are going to change the way they make music, and you know, whenever this thing hits, there's no more tours. So, what do you think the artist is going to do? You know, he's sitting at home right now. How do you think he's going to plan his future?
So what I think it's a two-part, right? Like kind of how you ask, how has New York changed? That would be the first thing, right? We don't have any shows. We really can't link up and go to the studio. Even if you can, you're still taking a chance because you don't know who the person was around before or had a session with before. So with the social distancing, it's almost a non-existent social life. So for music, you know, you never really realize what your business is until things challenge your business. So you would think it's only stores that's affected, but then it came, I think, it came to the point where we all had to realize that our business is a consumer-based business in every way. So if you're not a newscaster or somebody that has this wide reach through a signal or a medium like television or radio, and you're trying to be direct to consumer, you're going to have a super challenge when it comes to dropping records. And now that, you know, before it was a little different. It wasn't so performance based. Now you're making all your money from touring. There is no
Right.
touring.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I heard, you know, I don't want to say any names, but I heard of a DJ, a well-known DJ recently, who was doing a party. And I know we I know we still trying to hold on to the idea of hip hop and all the big shows and all that. But you are jeopardizing people. And somebody says something to me, they're like, yo, you want to go out and party and you want to maintain a semblance of life, but then you go home to your 80-year-old grandmother or your aunt who's a little bit older and you kill them
Right.
because we really don't know how this contagion is affecting people.
Right.
So we're in a place now where you want to still perform for people. You see people making videos in their home, but there's still a exchange of energy between you and your fan base that's not happening. I can't walk up to you and feel your presence when you perform. You know what I'm saying? You may be live as hell on your Instagram live, but the energy that I get from you and the energy that us as an artist receive when we're performing, that ain't happening. I can't. It's like right now, I may be rhyming crazy, and you like, yeah, yeah, but that's not that's not the same thing as 50,000 people yelling and screaming your name when you walk out and you seeing your name and lights on the big, you know, screen.
Right. Right.
So I think that all in all, good things are going to come out of this because people are going to find out that they have other ways to reach their artists, I mean, and their artist fan base. But at the same time, the things as we know it, they all will be redefined no matter what. Because even when you can go back to just performing in the club, people are going to be thinking about the what if. So they're going to say, yeah, we can have the club, but how can we ensure that if there's another situation like this, that we continue, the reach to the fans and the streams of income that come from going out into the field? Because this is field work, right? You got to be present to make it happen. There's a lot of things are going to be changed, a lot of jobs. People don't know the sound man. He got to be in the place where the sound is at. There's no sound man on Instagram Live. So the lighting man, what's up? The dancers, everybody's being directly affected by this situation. And everybody's job doesn't have the ability to be reshaped into something else that they can give direct to consumer and still connect in that way. So it's going to be a challenge. That's my answer.
Do you think, this is the last question I have as far as the virus, we're going to get into your history, but do you think we're back to a level now to where you got to say something in music? Because I mean, it's not going to be any more clubs you can rap about at a time like this. You can't rap about your jewels, can't rap about your cars, because nobody cares. Nobody's saying that right now. Do you think people now are going to reevaluate how they write their songs and the subject matter?
Yes, I do think that people do realize, even the people that were resistant at first are going to realize that you need to make songs that speak to the loss of life at this point, the people that are hurting. Like somebody just said, even the bartenders are hurting. This is so multifaceted and such a dynamic issue. You've got people that lost their family. Like I put up a post, I don't know if you saw it, but I was like, people like, oh, I can't wait till outside is open again. But I'm like, when you go back outside, your man just lost his mother. Your other man, he ain't got no job. Somebody lost their wife. Like, this is not going to be tomorrow. Oh, I'm opening back up everything and everybody's okay. This is like 9/11 times 20,000. It's a worldwide event. It's like an extinction level event, because for me, I realized that it's almost like watching a movie. When you see a lot of people in other states, when 9/11 happened, people couldn't feel it. It was still like a movie. They saw the towers, but it was almost like a film replicating that situation. They did not feel the loss, the death. In every state right now, people got a social distance. They got to shop differently. They ain't got no work. They can't see the person that they love because they might infect somebody over there or in their family. They're too far apart. They've cut off borders. So this is a worldwide event where I think that perspective is going to change. And then we're going to start to, not everybody, because I believe that there's some people that once it's over, they can just go back to the same fuckery that they've been doing and they don't feel it. But I'm telling you, I'm projecting this, that for 2 years, my guy, 2 years, people are not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to go back outside and be the same rapper, make the same songs like you're saying, talk the same stuff, because they're gonna be people that are saying, yo, are you kidding me? So-and-so just lost their whatever, or so, like, there's going to be a whole level of consciousness to me that's going to happen. But to answer your question directly, yes, some people are going to change the way they rap. Some people are going to change. Some people are advantageous and they're going to make songs specifically to try to seem compassionate. But there are people whose talent isn't that. They're never going to be able to make a We Are the World song. They're never going to be able to make a story that sounds like I'm connecting to the people who are hurting right now. So yeah, there will be, I think, a lot of change. There will be some genuine people that'll make songs about this experience. There'll be some genuine people that try to do things to, to provide relief for the families that suffer from this. But I do believe that we're going to have a wave of wave riders who come out and try to make songs just to capitalize over people's pain. That's what I think, period.
Right. Well, let's get into a little bit of your history, man. Tell me where you were born and raised at.
Oh, I was born in Harlem. When I was 10, we moved to the Bronx, and I've been in the Bronx ever since. I mean, I've lived other places because, you know, my mother would say I was a knucklehead, but my home base has been the Bronx. Yeah, that's that.
Coming up, who was your musical influences?
Oh man, you know what? Roxanne Shante, Sugar Hill Gang, you know, Coogee Rap was a huge influence. Latifah was a huge influence. Those would be the core people. Like Coogee Rap was the guy. Like the bars, metaphors, and Lord Finesse. You know, a lot of these people ended up being my friends. You know, so some of the influence wasn't lyrically. Some of the influence was mindset. The same way you said, are people gonna rap differently because of these situations? Some people will say, yo, rap, write a story, or you know, something like that. But the core people were Roxanne Shante, because she made me, that was real quick in the way that she made me feel like I could talk the way that I'm sarcastic or comedic with my speaking. I could take that and make that a song. But the person or the persons, the two people that I feel really made me the MC that I am is Coogee Rap and Latifah. Yeah.
So, at
Yeah.
what point did you say, "Hey, I can do this"? At what point did you grab the mic and pursue being a hip hop artist?
Mm. Uh, it was gradual, like everything else is. When I was like 13, my homeboy Mark Allen, I had a piece of paper and I was writing rhymes, but I wasn't telling anybody I was doing it. And I said it to him, yo, that's fire. You should continue with that. So I continued. And then Skate Key, we had a skating rink out in the Bronx called Skate Key. And everybody went there. It was the place to be. You know, there was fights and bagging shorties and everything that went along with, you know, chilling. So outside, people would be rhyming. And I think that was the first place where I actually let people really know that I rap. And I got a dope response. So I came back next time and rhymed and came back next time. And then I don't really think, you know, music, the business of music was so new then. My goal wasn't to get a record deal. That wasn't a thing. It was more like the fever and park jams where you just wanted people to hear that you had bars. You didn't even really think of it as, what's up, Christina Love? You didn't even really think of it as a career. Almost you were shamed if you were thinking about rap as a career. You were supposed to be on a career path that was successful to a civilized life, right? So for a long time, for me, it was just that. And then I saw other people start to get record deals, and Slick Rick lived up the block, Antoinette lived up the block, DJ Jazzy Joyce lived on my block, Funk Master Flex lived up the block and was always on my block. And everybody was in the infancy stages of the business as well as their youth. So you couldn't help but be immersed in what was going on. I don't think I really felt like it was a career until I was signed to Grandmaster Flash for a short period of time.
Oh,
Like,
wow.
it was the first person, shout out to Grandmaster Flash, that really believed it was something. So what he did was he took me around to write to people. We did a whole bunch of demos, and then he took me around to write for people. And I wrote for Roxanne Shante at that point, 2 songs for her. And when I wrote the songs for Shante, I was like, okay, you can make money off of this. I didn't get a lot of money because I think Flash probably gave me whatever that was, equivalent to a pair of sneakers at the time. I'm sure he got whatever was supposed to be gotten. But shout out to Grandmaster Flash. And after that, I realized it was something. So I left Grandmaster Flash. I asked for a release, and I started just running around. I ran into Guru, rest in peace, Guru. I ran into Premier, and they had just moved to New York. They were living on Fordham Road, and Guru and Premier was doing it at the time. But again, I knew Finesse. You know, I was at Finesse's first video. I knew Showbiz and AG. I knew everybody. I just still wasn't sure, especially with my mom's, if it could even be a career. Like, you were going to college, living in my house. You weren't talking about rap. Like, that was a joke. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the first time I believed it was something is myself, Akinelli, and Nas would be running around. And again, it's funny I said that. Going to college was a thing, right? So they went with me to register for my college because my mother was like, you must go to college registration. So Nas, Ak, and I, we went to Bronx Community to register for me. And we did that. And then I was still really writing rhymes before school started. So Lady of Rage called me and she said, yo, yeah, she was at Chunk. She was always working at Chunk King Studios. And she called me and she said, yo, Dr. Dre called me. He's starting this label. I never told this story, so it's crazy. Dr. Dre's starting this label. He's calling it Death Row. What do you think I should do? And I was like, well, you running around with Nikki D, but it's about Nikki D right now. How are you going to make it about you out here? You probably should go do it. And then she went and did it, and she became Lady of Rage, because at the time she was called Rockin' Robin. She wasn't even Lady of Rage. Then she came up from Virginia, and she was just grinding, chilling with the leaders at New School, working in Chunking. And then she went out and she became Lady of Rage. So at that point, it was further confirmed for me that we could make something of this. You know, and for us, Dr. Dre was one of the quintessential producers. Even in that time, he still hadn't ballooned into what he was, right? But you got NWA, you got the first group he was with, you got Miss Chalet. These are things we're coming up on, and they're on the airwaves. So it's the dream come true. So once Rage did that, I think I really dedicated myself. Then Nas got his deal, I got his deal, and then I ended up getting my deal with Trackmasters. Shout out to Frankie and Alex from Trackmasters. I got my deal with Trackmasters, and Max Goose was the A&R Giant Warner Brothers at the time. So right before that, it was like, you know, it's funny how the higher powers work. You running around trying to get a deal, talking to everybody, rhyming for everybody. Nobody's giving you an opportunity. You hitting all these studios. You recording on demos on tape and 4-track back then, which is crazy. And nothing's happening. So I think when Nas got his deal, I got his deal. I was always in Large Professor's house at the time when he was making the Main Source album. And then he came out with Looking at the Front Door. And I just felt like it's realer than real at that point. Because when you're sitting next to your friends and they say, I'm going to make this album, it's going to be on Video Music Box, I'm going to get a record deal, I'm going to be on tour, and it happens, and you're holding the actual record in your hand, you like, yo, he said it and he did it, I could do the same thing. So Fatal, well, even before Fatal, I think Clue and I, DJ Clue and I were making I was doing the intros on his mixtapes. And, I was getting a lot of notoriety from that. And then right at that point, they made the CD player. Sounds so old right now, but they made the CD player, and Clue went and bought a CD player, and he put his mixtape on a CD player. So I'm like, DJ Clue taking a tape and making a mixtape, not a mixtape, putting it on a CD, but it's a mixtape. That's brilliant to me. Like, you changing the game. And I don't even think people know that he was like the first dude. Like, he was working in, was it Foot Locker? One of them sneaker joints. And he saved up the money. He was putting his tapes out. He had bought his little Honda Accord, and he saved up the money to buy the CD presser. And then he did that, and it just started ballooning. Everybody was playing the CD, and a police officer walked up to me. You know how my father always says, pay attention to the signal and to the signs. So one day I was in the train station, and a police officer walked up to me, but I was everywhere rhyming at the time and, showing up on little public access shows and something. And a police officer walked up to me with his ticket book and said, are you Pudgee the Fat Bastard? And I was like, yeah, but at the time there's no record deal, there's no nothing. And he held up his ticket book, and he had my sticker that Lenny S and Bert